Hello, everyone. I know this is a pretty weird time to go live, but I thought I wanted to do it anyway because I think I'm going to give you something valuable that you can use also to watch later to close off the day. It's the last day of the year, and on the last day of the year, I like to look back to what happened in the past year. Guys, there's people actually here. It's a really weird time, so I'm very, very happy and grateful that you're here, guys. Thank you so much. Welcome. Just say hi. I would love to know if you're there and just wave. Um, I would love to close the year with you. I mean, it was such a turbulent year for me. And I feel like I abandoned you a little bit because I was a little bit away in the past months. I'll tell you in a second. Mally Rose, thank you so much. Good morning. It's already evening here already. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Domina Man, so nice to see you too. You're always here. Thank you so much for your support. So nice. Well, what I would love to do with you is to close the year. And I would love to give you something to hold on to see. Hey, Louise. To check for your. I made something, a reflection for your relationship. So if you're not in a relationship, it might be a little bit less interesting for you, but I think it's still interesting. First, I want to start and tell you a little bit about what happened with me in the past months, and well, just share a little bit. No audio. You don't hear me? Is that for other people? Hey, Lucy. Are there any other people who struggle with not hearing me? Oh boy. It should be fine. I can check it on, but I hear. Okay, good. Then probably Gursarak. I think then it's on your side, so maybe you should either unmute your laptop, maybe. I don't know. I'm here. That's good to hear. Now, what I would love to do is I would love to start with you to tell you a little bit about what happened with me in the past month, year actually, because I have something to celebrate. I have a few things that didn't work so well. It happens. And I'm just going to share with you a little bit, looking forward to 2022, what I want to do. And then I would love to do with you a piece of reflection on your relationship. So it's just something for you that you can share. It's 20 questions that you can answer, and then you have you know what to work on for next year. That's all. So if you're interested, then let's go. Okay, so now here's what happened to me. The big things that were not so well in my year. I had to move 3 times. I left the father of my kids 4.5 years ago, and what happened then is that we have a housing problem in Holland, and I just lived in like trailers and holiday homes, and now I finally have a home. It's freaking expensive, but it's a home where I can stay and I can live there with my kids. I'm super, super happy. So it's worth it. But the point is that 3 times moving, I don't know how intense it is for you to move. For me, it's intense, especially with kids. And that, I guess, it ate like half of my year or something. Then I got COVID twice. The first time I had it in March. I wasn't sick, but I had to recover 2 months. And I got sick 3 weeks ago again, but I'm totally fine now. That this wasn't that bad. It was like a few days of fever, and then I already started to be better. But I'm a little bit coughy still, so sometimes I might cough. I'm sorry for that. So that's actually, and for of course, what is also not so nice for me is this. Of course, I tried to start this up when COVID started, when we had the first lockdown. But I could do it because I had like a compensation from the government, and because my normal job disappeared. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm working as a trainer, and all my training were canceled. So and then we started up again, and then they got canceled again in September. Now, and in October, when we had another lockdown. We're in a lockdown again now. And the point with the lockdown now is that I don't get compensated. So I had to decide if I wanted to keep on going on with it, because this is what I love doing. But the point is, it's not paying my rent. So I'm having a problem with it. and I had to decide that I need to put a little bit less effort in this. Unfortunately, I would love to do that, but I'm doing this in my evening hours. I'm doing it in the extra time, and for the rest, I'm setting up a new business for online trainings that is going to make me my money. And as soon as that is set up, then I will have a little bit more time, hopefully. But I will still keep on creating videos. And now let's go to the things that I had to celebrate, because that's also really nice. First of all, I wrote a book in in the beginning. I published it in February. I'm very proud of that. And I just finished 2 weeks ago. I finished my second book, which is called Playing with Passion, and it's a relationship couples book. So it's for you to increase spice in the bedroom, to start playing with passion. It's a lot of fun, all kinds of fun stuff to try out together. So that's the second book. It will probably be, I hope I can launch this next February. That would be great, with Valentine's Day. Well, the rest, what I did is I got 2 million views on all my videos. So that's really, I mean, who would have thought? I just started this because I was interested in it and I find it fun and I was passionate about it. I've got over 16,000 subscribers. I created 3 online trainings that I'm selling every now and then. So if you're interested, I have a training on deep throating. I have a training on submission. And there's one bigger training that's a 3-month program. Nobody's buying it, but I created it, so I'm proud of it. So that's what it's looking for now. Now, what is going on for me? What will happen in 2022? Well, first of all, what I said is I will be a bit less all over the place. So I simply can't make 3 videos anymore every week, but I will definitely keep on moving, keep on doing 1 video every week. I just filmed 2. Just what I do is one day I make the preparation, one day I film them, and one day I'll edit one, and then I'll be about an hour a day or something that I can spend on it. That will be fine. So that sounds wonderful. So that's what I would, and that's also what I would love to know from you guys. But I will keep it for the end, because I first want to go to the reflection and completion that you can do as a couple for yourself. So I want to go to there, and then afterwards I would love to hear from you what you would love to see on this channel. So keep on hanging on. The reflection and completion that I created, it's for couple if you're in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, there will be a few questions that will be relevant for you too. And it's definitely interesting, because now you can at least think about what you want to get from a relationship, what is important for you. So it's anyway valuable and something that you can learn from. If you want to do something like this with me and to reflect on your relationship, bring a pen and paper. You don't have to do a lot, but I want you to answer the questions with a number between 1 and 5, and that's a lot easier if you do it with me. So just gonna give you a few seconds. I think I had like a video for that. Wait, where is it? Yeah, God, there it is. It's fun. I love Cookie Monster. So, well, I'm just thinking that you have them all. Just gonna do the questions. The only thing that you have to do, answer them between 1 and 5. 1 is for it's no, actually. So for instance, I'm just going to give you the first question is, I am well aware of my boundaries. So that means that you know exactly what your limits are, what you can handle, what you cannot handle. If you know that you are very aware of those, and I know they can change, you put in a 5. And if you haven't started with it to even think about it, it will be a 1 for you. So is that clear? Just type a yes in the chat if that's clear for you. If you understand what you're doing, are you ready for it? Nice, Simokios. Thank you. Good. Cool. Okay. Now, this is the first question. I am well aware of my boundaries. Put the number in between 1 and 5. 1 is for I'm not very aware of my boundaries. I'm actually I need to start exploring them, and I never thought about it, or I think I know what my boundaries are. And 5 is for you know very well what your boundaries are. And yeah. Next question. I spend at least 10 hours weekly of focused time with my partner. If you do, spend enough time. And this is questions that I created because I think that this is important for me, right? Maybe for you 10 hours is a bit much and 6 or 7 is enough. But then make it, then you can still put in a 5 for you, because that means that you spend enough weekly focus time with your partner. If you think you really don't, if you haven't spoken to each other for a while, I'm having 1 hour at least every day, and usually we spend also time during the day. We have an hour of focus time together every day. So that gives us already a 7 hours, and then usually we also spend sometimes time in the middle or a bit longer. I'm also on Telegram, yes. Next question. There is nothing unspoken between my partner and me that I should forgive or tell. This is about honesty. To me, honesty is so crucial in a relationship, especially if you want to have a kinky relationship, if you want to play with boundaries, if you want to play with trust. You need to be so honest. There cannot be something in between you that you still need to tell, or that you should forgive. If you're holding a grudge against your partner, it will come out one day. So if you have something that is, and you know that's really bothering you, and it's doing something in your relationship, give yourself a 1. And if it's if there is nothing, and you're completely honest and open towards each other, give yourself a 5. Next question. I am well aware of my partner's needs and wants in the relationship. Well, the first question, of course, is if you're aware of your own needs and wants in your relationship. But are you aware of your partner's needs and wants in your relationship? Because what I'm doing now is I'm going to ask you questions about something that you can change in your relationship. And this is something that you can change. It's also something you can change your own, of course, but not if your partner is aware of that. All I'm going to do now is making you aware of what you are. You aware of your partner's needs and wants? If you think you're aware of your partner's needs and wants, that does not mean that you give yourself a 5. Clear? You can give yourself a 5 if you are aware. Maybe you have a contract. Maybe you negotiated. You just had a long talk about it. But how long is it ago? If you haven't talked about needs and wants in the past year, you cannot give yourself a 5. Because needs and wants change. So if you're honest with yourself, how aware are you from your partner's needs and wants in your relationship? And this is something that I need also. I can't give myself a 5 on this. I know that he's aware of my needs and wants, but I'm not so aware of his, to be honest. So that's something for me to work on. Next. I have my own red lines very clear, and my partner, and we committed to respect them. We are aware of the consequences when we don't. Well, this is maybe a bit long. This is about red lines, and I made a video about that. It's about how clear are for you, and the red line means if you do something like this, the relationship is over. For some people, this is cheating, having a relationship with somebody else, kissing with somebody else, or having sex with somebody else. Can be both. But for other people, it can also be like, I really want someone. For me, for instance, one of my red lines is it's not really a red line, but for me, it's very, very important that we are in touch every single day. I need to hear from him. And sometimes it happens that I don't hear from him, but he will send me a message that I'm not going to hear from him. It will rarely happen. And usually when it does happen, then something is going on. That's, for me, is a red line. It's something that we negotiated. And because of that, I'm willing to accept a few things that, well, otherwise I might not be willing to accept. So the question is, do you have your own red lines very clear? And do you have your partner's red lines clear? And are you committed to respect them? Next question. I show myself the way I truly am in my relationship. This is a question that is very close to my heart because I get so many questions from people in a relationship. They say, I wish my partner knew that I have this kink, that I would love to submit, that I would love to dominate. Are you showing yourself the way that you truly are in your relationship? Do you dare to tell them that you would love to have rough sex? That you would love to be humiliated? That you are very, very turned on by their feet? I created a video on foot fetishes just yesterday. It will be on. It will be online soon in the next week. So and I created it just because of this, because I think this is when I listen to what you guys are saying, this is one of the biggest fetishes that people have, or the fetish that most people have actually, and there is so much shame about it. There's so many people who find it very, very hard to say really what they want in a relationship. That's so wonderful that you give yourself a 5, Tolan. That you show yourself the way you truly are in your relationship. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Next question. I am actually actively supporting my partner in my relationship. Now, this can mean so many different things. But the whole point of this is, are you in your relationship? Are you building up your partner, or are you bringing them down? I see so many relationships where people are content. Is that a word? It's not contempt. It's like, that kind of stuff, that they're a little bit, they lack the respect towards their partner. So if you look honestly to your relationship, are you actively supporting your partner in your relationship? Do you make them bigger than they are? Do you make sure that they can grow where you are? Do you give them space? 5 for yes, if you do that completely, and if there is nothing to be better in that. Next question. I actively learn how to become better in my relationship. So that means, do you actually take the time to figure out stuff on how to do relationships better? Do you sometimes maybe read a book, listen to a podcast, ask questions, talk about it with your friends? And then I don't mean talking with your friends about what is going wrong, but how can you do it better? Did you ever learn how to communicate well? How to have a conflict? If that's a problem in your relationship, to have conflicts, because there are people, my former partner, he hated conflict. I remember the first time that we met, that we had a conflict, that we had a fight. I was with him and he was on the couch and we fought. I'm sharp. You can probably imagine a little bit what it's like to be in a fight with me. It's not very funny. Sorry. And then I went upstairs. I had to cool down a bit. So I don't know, I was just doing something. And then I came back down and I sat next to him on the couch and he said, "Where's your suitcase?" He thought that I was going to leave him because we had a fight. He's a middle child. He was raised with divorced parents. He grew up never thinking about what he wanted. He was always busy, always working on making sure that everyone was happy. He never learned how to fight. And I also never learned how to fight. We had to learn that together. So maybe this is something for you, that you can learn how to become better in your relationship. Do you actually actively spend time on learning how to become better in your relationship? And give yourself a 5. If you think you can do better, give yourself a lower score. Next one. I trust my partner. This is a huge one for me. And it's also not something that you can easily create. It's something that I was confronted with big time, because you can imagine, if you're in a dominant submissive relationship, I am submitting to someone. It requires a lot of trust, and I didn't have that trust. And it's connected to the amount of trust I have in myself, right? I don't trust myself. And therefore, I find it very hard to trust him. So this is for me a huge thing to work on. And it's definitely much better because I think it was a 1 when we started our relationship. And I think I have, for me, it's a lot easier now to trust someone. And it has nothing to do with my partner. It has to do with me. I know that I can trust myself better. And that's making such a huge difference. Learning how to fight could be a great video for next year. Absolutely. Melly Rose, that's a great idea. I'm going to put that down immediately. Just a second, guys. How to fight. I actually think that I already created a video on it, but it's not a big thing to make another one on that. Absolutely. Great one. Great idea. Thank you. Next question. I take responsibility for my part in conflicts in our relationship. If you're talking about how to fight, this is a biggie. We tend to blame the other person for when we have a conflict because the other person is doing something wrong. Well, here's news for you that you probably heard before. When there's 2 fighting, there's 2 people to blame. So there's always also something that you could have done better. Are you willing to take responsibility for your part in your conflicts in your relationship? Or are you very good in blaming? And this is a biggie. Because if you're saying this and you give yourself a 5, I dare you, I challenge you to ask your partner about that. And see if he gives you a 5 too, or she. Next one. I am 100% open and honest in my relationship. I know we had a question before that was about I can be who I truly am, but this is also about open and honest. It's about, do you dare to confront your partner? Do you dare to be loving, but in a constructive way, building him up? But do you dare to give feedback to your partner, to talk about what is going wrong? Do you dare to share if he hurt you or she hurt you? I mean, not on purpose then, huh? I know there are quite a few of us, including me, that like it when we get hurt physically. But do you like to confront? Do you dare to be and being honest and open? For instance, this was also for me was very challenging in the beginning. I found it really hard to use my safe word because I was afraid that I would hurt my partner. So that was something that I needed to learn too. So this is also something I would still not. I mean, we have a rule that I never lie, and that's a very hard one for me, but a very challenging one and a very good one. So I'm keeping it for now, but I don't think I can still say thank you so much for sharing, Simo, because it's very, very powerful that you already dare to share this and because if you see it, you know what you're aware, and then it's something that you can work on together. Next question. I am committed to my relationship and willing to do whatever it takes. I saw a quote from Esther Perel a few days ago, and she said, we used to marry till death, but now we marry until love dies. And I had a lot of discussions about this with a couple that I actually I used their book as my as my input for my book, and we had and they well actually she was not so strict on it, but he said you can have a relationship with pretty much anyone if you have some core values that are similar, that are so crucial for you, and you can respect that. I think you can make any relationship work. Now, I'm not sure that if I agree. I don't think I agree on that because I need stuff. I need some things from a person. And if I don't have that in a relationship, I will probably, I won't be able to do that. But he might be able, I don't know. The point is, are you committed to your relationship to make that relationship work? Because it's very easy to say, my relationship is okay, but my neighbor is so hot and sexy. I think she's a lot more fun to work with it. The point is, are you committed to your relationship and are you willing to do whatever it takes, even if you have hard times? Dare to be honest. 1 for no and 5 for yes, 100%. Next question. I recognize it when I need support and I actively ask for it. This is something that we underestimate in relationships, asking for help. Because not everyone is very good at this. So the question is, if you need support, are you able to ask for it? Or, especially if you're a woman, females under you, are you very good in giving signals and expecting your partner to read your mind so he will know that there is something going on and that he needs to do something to fix it? 5, if you're actively asking for support when you need it. And also when you recognize it yourself. It's also something, I mean, when I have PMS the day before I get my period, I usually don't recognize it. I mean, I do now, but now I'm 43. I mean, it took me about 20 years or so to recognize it that this was a day that I would actually really struggle, and that would also be very emotional, and that I would take everything personal, and that I needed help. At least I needed support, and I really did not need to have like deep discussions about things that I thought was going wrong. And so, if and trust me, the moment that I started to figure that out, and I found out that this was what's going on with me, I could just tell my partner, like, you know what, maybe this is not the best day to have this discussion, or that you're actually willing to have a discussion on what I'm doing wrong, because this is really not a good time. So, are you asking for help? Next question. I am very happy with my sex life. I don't think I have to discuss this, right? This is very clear. And it doesn't mean that there is nothing to change. It means that it's fulfilling you, that it's giving you what you need. Maybe not always what you want, but it's giving you what you need. And there is space to talk about it. So, your physical relationship is fulfilling you. 5, if that's 100%, and a 1, if this is 0% or between 1 and 20% or something. You know how it works. Next question. I am fulfilled in my relationship in a spiritual and mental level. I just asked a question about the physical part, but now it's also about mental. Are you friends? Is it possible to talk about stuff? Can you really connect on a deeper level? Are you intimate together? Yeah, I mean, it can mean different things for different people. The question is, what you have now, is this a 5 for you, or is this a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4? Is there space for improvement? Next one. I find my relationship exciting, and in the past year I grew as a person. Now, this is one that I put on because to me, growth is very important. I want to be challenged. I need someone who is pushing me so hard that I need to cry, and that I'm fighting, that I'm squirming. And I mean, not physically. I mean, also somebody who dares to confront me with my behavior. I need to have someone who takes the lead. That's why I'm submissive. So this is for me very important. So yes, I have a relationship where I grew in the past year. So this is for me definitely. By the way, this is not a 5. This is for me is a 4, because I would like to have it more, and it's because of me, and it's because of the circumstances. So I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's something that I will take it and see what is one of the points that I can do to change that. Next question. We talk when needed about what we need, and we make plans for the future. This is also about with the relationship, what you need. Are you willing to talk about it whenever you need it, whenever you want to see something changed? Is there a space to talk about it? And do you actually plan to work on it also together? How you can change it? So 1, if there's no space at all, and 5, if there is a lot of space, and you do it also. We're almost at the end, guys. Last question. Okay, this is a biggie. And this, my partner is not responsible for my well-being and happiness. it means that you are also very happy if you would not be with your partner. It means that you would be very, very happy also alone. I mean, I would be terrified if my relationship would end. I wouldn't be happy. I would grieve, but it wouldn't make me a lesser person, and I would find my happiness in other ways. So I don't need my partner to be taking care of my well-being and happiness. Between 1 and 5. Okay, this is the end of the 1 and 5 questions. Now, what you do is see if you have how many questions you have that have a 1, and pick one that you're going to work on next year. You're just going to put it for yourself like, this is the one that I'm going to take action on. And just write down for yourself one thing that you could do to make it from a 1 to a 2. If you don't have 1s, you do that with a 2s. True honesty can be terrifying. That's so true. I find it terrifying too. Yeah. And it sometimes it was awake. I lied awake for a night before I dared to tell it. If you wrote down for yourself one action, I would love to hear from you. What kind of action would you be able to do? Just share with me the one thing that you would like to work on, and maybe we can have a look what we can do. Yeah. To me, my sex life would be one to improve. We didn't see each other that much, of course, and there is space. So I have in my head something that I can do to change that. Well, let me know if you have something. I'm going to continue in the meantime. Here's another wonderful question for you. What gave you energy in your relationship in the past year? Was it something that you did together? Going on a holiday, falling asleep together, waking up together, getting a blowjob when you're awake, being aware of his goals and needs. I'm just getting an answer, Melly Rose. We're new, long distance. Being aware of his goals and needs. I can so imagine that. So, do you also have an idea what you could do to ask him about this, or being more aware of his goals and needs? And isn't it also exciting that you actually know, hey, I have something that I can improve and that you can actually work on? It's something that can make your relationship better. How awesome is that? And that's why I always love to do this kind of reflection stuff, and because it's always giving me ideas on how I can improve the next year. Planning sexual activities together, wonderful. Planning, I mean, people think that planning sex is boring. It's so not true. It's so not true. Just imagine that you're planning a date night and have one of you in charge. And Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, your date night starts. I mean, just making up something. And your partner doesn't know what's going to happen because you're in charge. You're planning it. Don't you see how easy it will be to get someone to be really excited and to really get turned on just because of the fun that you have about that. That's it. To me, planning something is so not boring. It's adding to the fun. I mean, it's like if I'm going on holiday, I'm also planning it. That makes it more fun if I'm planning it. Sometimes we do something spontaneous. Sometimes it's fun, but not all the time. My goal is getting my dom to communicate and not be shy. Now, that's a great goal, but the point is that something that you can do? What can you do to get your dom to communicate and not be shy? Anticipation and hints, absolutely. You're about planning. Yeah, so true. But this is something for you to think about. Gursawak Singh, that's something to think about. What can you do to get your dom to communicate? And the point is that usually it's not something that you can do. It's actually a great question for next one, White. My dom is shy. For next year, for a video. How do I get to know her needs and wants? Thank you so much. I'm going to make a video for you. And maybe for the both of you, maybe it's actually really nice to make something like this that can really help her to communicate. Okay, but this was, and the last questions is just put for yourself. I'm not going to wait for that because you will have to take a little bit more time on it. Think about what gave you energy in your relationship in 2021 and what cost you energy. Because that's what we're going to do after that, is what we're going to do in 2022, obviously. Then what I love to use, I'm going to share it with you, is to change your relationship is stop. I'm going to share. Wait, stop. Start. Do this. I hope this video is not mirrored. It probably is. No, it's not. You can see that, right? So this is what I fill in often. It says start, stop, do less, and do more. So after I filled in all the questions and the cost energy and bringing me energy, I'm just gonna write down for myself: is there anything that I should do that I should do less, that I should do more, that I could start? For instance, one thing that you, for instance, could start is like a gratefulness journal, just to make sure that you find things that you're grateful for in your relationship. That really, really works miracles. I can really suggest you do that. And stop might be crashing in front of the TV immediately after dinner and watch TV until the end of the day, so you don't speak to each other. Or maybe that's a do less for you. So think about it, what you can do. It's just one for you. I'm not gonna wait for you to give you time now, but that's a great thing also to do for yourself. Just take an hour or so and think about it. That's amazing. Now, last question, because I would love to take a little bit of time. Gives getting to talk with him cost how busy he gets. Yeah. Good one. What would you love to see on this channel in 2022? So I already have 2 topics. The first is how to fight. And the second is, how do I actually get my partner to do something for me, to communicate with me in a way that I would love to have them. Are there any other topics that you would love to see from me to make a video on it? In the meantime, I'm opening my Prosecco. I'm not very fond of champagne. I should have champagne, of course. And I would like to do a toast with you on the new year. And in the meantime, just feel free to say when partners have different views, okay? And what do you mean with that, Mally Rose? A different view on what? Is the problem that you have a different view, or that you're not sure how to handle it? Or do you want him to have your view? That's also possible. I can give you an answer on that. You might guess what that would be. In the meantime, cheers, guys. Cheers. Bubbles. Communicating them for understanding. Definitely don't want to force views either direction. No. I have a fantastic tool for that. That's and it's actually the same tool as for how to fight. But I will make a video on that, definitely. I'm going to make videos on all the topics. Fetish, how to ask, that's a wonderful video. How to ask my partner to participate in a fetish. Great topic. I'm actually addressing it a little bit in the foot fetish video, but there is definitely something also in golden showers. Yeah, for sure. I can imagine that's a tough one to address. Wonderful. I'll make a video on that, I promise. Yeah. It would, by the way, it would really help to share with them the video that I created on golden showers. Because what I do is I have a video on that already, and what I do is I share why it is so interesting for people, and that gives a lot of understanding, and that will give you also some tools to talk with them about it. So is there anything else that you would like to see on my channel? You saw it. Wonderful. Great. Well, that's fantastic. Cool. I promise I'll make a video on how to ask your partner to participate in that. So if you have any other questions, ideas, just feel free to just post it in the videos in the comments, and I'll just read them. I mean, I always read the comments, and you probably saw that. I don't know if you ever posted a comment. I don't, except for Dominant Man, he posts a lot of comments. Hello, Sam. Tonight, will you wear 6 inches high heel shoes for your partner? No, I won't, because he doesn't have a foot fetish, but that would be grim. As a submissive, is it common to outgrow your dom? What an interesting question, Jessie. What is outgrowing? Because are you outgrowing someone? Or is it just that your needs change and your wants? It's a different one, huh? It's a very interesting one, and I promise it's on the list now to make a video about it next year. Cool. Oh, I'm having topics for like 2 months now. How awesome is that? Cool. Thank you so much. Oh, I missed going live. It's been forever also that I was live. So it's also so much fun that there are actually people talking to me then. Love it. In the meantime, I'm enjoying my champagne. I would like to say goodnight to you. I mean, I know if there is a... fantastic. Thanks. I joined late, but enjoyed the conversation. Wonderful, Janelle. Thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve. And I really hope that we'll meet each other again next year. Yeah, I really enjoyed being with you, talking with you, sharing thoughts, helping you grow in your relationship. You might have seen videos on female domination. I missed that, but thank you. You might have seen that that I changed a little bit my topics, because I really want to also reach out to vanilla couples, because I think that all the BDSM and kink stuff has so much for them to learn. So I'm also touching like a lot of more vanilla topics. Like I did a video on tickling, but it's one of the most popular videos that I created in the past month. So in the end, there is so much that people are interested in. So I'm just really happy. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Wishing you a wonderful new year. And don't forget to stay and support me. Cheers.